In this video, I'm going to be going over the features that I just described and the formatting elements using two examples, a poorly written example and a well-written form that improves upon the previous version. If you follow along, you'll see that a lot of the elements and features that were described and highlighted in the previous video will be exemplified here. Let's start with the bad example. So here in the heading, from the very beginning, we have from, to, there's the date, but they're not formatted in the way that we expect them to. We have, instead of including the job title, we have emails listed. And most importantly, if you look at the subject line, even though it's formatted as a phrase, it doesn't really help us predict what the topic is about. It just gives us a very broad and vague idea. So the subject line reads, Food, Glorious Food. And if you think about it, it could really be about anything. We understand that it's about food, but it's not really building much upon that. It's not fostering predictability as it ought to. Now, let's move to the body paragraphs, the message itself, the opening statement, body paragraphs, closing. Remember, in a well-written memo, everything should be neat and tidy. We start with a very direct statement of what we intend to achieve in the opening statement, and then we group and structure the message in terms of the specific functions. I'll read the first paragraph for you, what is meant to be the opening statement, and it reads, Arranging for catering has always been a major headache. Remember those meetings where all we had to eat was a box of soda crackers and a few cubes of cheese? Well, those days are over, and we have our new partnership with Gusto Fine Foods to thank for it. Now we'll have tasty low-cal and low-carb snacks for all our boardroom meetings, on-site seminars, and receptions. There will be a tasting session on January 19th, so you can try some of these unbelievable sandwiches and hors d'oeuvres. So as you can see, the writer begins with a little bit of background instead of directly saying what the message intends. The message is most likely, the purpose of the message is best captured in the sentence that reads, um, which announces basically the partnership. We have our new partnership with Gusto Fine Foods to thank for it. So if this is the announcement, it should have been framed at the very beginning. We also see other bits and pieces of information that are most likely details, right? And should probably appear later on in the message, such as what kind of food items are offered, low calorie, low carb snacks for all our boardroom meetings, and the fact that there will be a tasting seminar, a tasting session, that's also placed into the mix. So, as you can see, the writer doesn't have a clear focus. Now let's move on to the body paragraphs, the function paragraphs. The first one reads, Soon it will be possible to order food like this online. Ordering is easy. Just remember to specify quantities and dates required. There are so many food choices, it's hard not to order every single thing. Okay, let's be um, let's be a little forgiving here, and let's say that the writer is trying to describe the method of placing an order in this paragraph. You know, the fact that it's done online and ordering is easy. One must specify the quantities and include the dates. But you probably have noticed that this is not nearly enough to help someone place an order. And also, what's up with that second sentence? There are so many food choices, it's hard not to order every single thing. It's not really serving a clear function. It's something that the message could really do without. Nothing will really be lost through the exclusion of this specific sentence. How about the next body paragraph? It reads, of course, it's possible to overindulge even in healthy food, so forget about ordering catered lunches and snacks every day. Think about it. Again, what is this trying to do? It doesn't seem to have a very clear purpose. It's, telling readers not to overindulge. Like, why would that be necessary in a message that is intended as an announcement of a new partnership with a catering service, with a new catering service? And finally, the closing statement. It should be brief. We don't add new information. We just mention any action that needs to be taken, and we offer a chance for readers to reach out with follow-up questions. And this paragraph reads, and don't forget to order at least 24 hours in advance. Otherwise, you might be out of luck and hungry. Okay, this is added almost as an afterthought, even though it's a very important piece of information and should have probably been included in the paragraph where instructions are given. And then the final sentence reads, by the way, you can find Gusto Fine Foods online at www.gustofindfoods.com. So as you can see, again, this is a detail that should have been included in the section where instructions are provided. And the final element is bon appetit. It's a goodwill statement. Normally, in the type of writing that we have, we're trying to aim for a more formal, direct, and objective approach to writing. So, goodwill statements such as this rarely have any place in the type of memos we're trying to write. Now let's look at a second example that is basically the same message but with improvements. Now I decided to leave out the to, from, and date line because for space saving considerations, but let's begin with the subject line. The subject line reads, new catering requisition procedures. So as you can see, it is way more clear compared to food, glorious food. It is formatted as a phrase, right? We don't have a verb with a tense in there. And you could use the little trick that I taught you. This memo or this message is about new catering requisition procedures, right? And then you leave out the this message is about. And so we know this is an announcement of new procedures for ordering catered food. Now compare the opening statement. Remember, the opening statement of the previous version had a little bit of background and it did not really place the main purpose of the memo front and center. In this example, we have effective February 3rd, all requests for office and event catering should be made online through the Gusto Fine Foods website. I think you can see the difference. It opens very directly and it builds upon what was in the subject line. So whereas the subject line only told us that there will be new procedures for ordering catered meals, here we have the exact date from which these new procedures will take effect. And then we also have the fact that, event catering and office catering will be made. So it's specifying the types of meals that are ordered for various occasions. And also, we have the full name of the new catering service, something that was not included in the subject line. So as you can see, the opening statement is an expansion of the subject line. It builds upon it with certain details. Now let's take a look at the body paragraphs. As you can see, we have one body paragraph here. We can consider all of this as a second body paragraph, third, fourth, and then the closing. Now, Each body paragraph, as I mentioned before, or function paragraph, must include a clear purpose or aim. This should be evident from the very first sentence. So let's take a very quick look at the first body paragraph. I'll read it to you. As you know, Clicks and Mortar Incorporated recently awarded Gusto Fine Foods Incorporated a contract to cater all board meetings, on site training sessions, and client consultations and receptions. As you can see, the announcement that their company, which is called Clicks and Mortar, has partnered with Gusto Fine Foods for its catering needs, this is the main announcement, has been made explicitly. So by reading this first sentence, your reader will know that this is the purpose of the paragraph, to make the announcement. Let's read the rest of it. Gusto Fine Foods specializes in offering health conscious businesses low carbohydrate and low calorie alternatives to traditional office fare. During the 6-month introductory period ending July 31st, you may choose from a specially priced product line that includes fruit platters, hot and cold hors d'oeuvres, light lunches, fresh juices, specialty coffees, and VQA Ontario wines. Let's see what was added. So the first sentence made the announcement. The second sentence mentioned the types of meals. Notice that we're not using low carb, low cal, right? We're trying to be very explicit in our statements. We avoid these types of reductions and abbreviated forms. It mentions that there will be a 6-month introductory period. It specifies when this will end, and it provides a list of options, of various meal forms and options that they can choose from. Now, let's proceed to the second body paragraph. You can ensure prompt and efficient delivery of your order by placing it 24 hours in advance and following this procedure. Number 1, visit the Gusto Fine Foods website at www.gustofinefoods.com. Number 2, click on orders. Number 3, enter your department number and password. Number 4, make your menu selection. Number 5, fill in the time, date, location, and guest number fields. And number 6, submit your order and print out a hard copy of the requisition. Compare this to the paragraph that we had in the previous version where instructions were provided. I think you can clearly see that in addition to this version, including a more comprehensive list of actions to be taken, it's also more clearly organized. Everything is in the same place, so we no longer have details spread across the message. It's all located in one place, and the use of graphical highlighting, in this case bullet points and white space, makes it very easy for readers to actually follow these instructions. The next paragraph is a short one. Let's see if we can identify the purpose of this short function paragraph. It reads, the cost of each order plus applicable taxes will be automatically deducted from your departmental hospitality allotment up to a maximum of $400 per month. Again, very clear that this is specifying where the money will be taken from. So how the payments are processed and what is the source of the funds attributed to these catered meals. The next paragraph reads, to learn more about Gusto's extensive catering services, you and members of your department are invited to an information session on January 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Central Atrium. Giorgio Del Monaco, president of Gusto Fine Foods, will be on hand to answer your questions and offer you the best from his tasting menu. In the previous version, the announcement that they were working now with Gusto Fine Foods and the fact that there would be a tasting session were placed in the same place, in the same paragraph. Here, they've been um, separately positioned in different function paragraphs. And again, the fact that this is done means that it is more salient to your readers and it's more likely to be remembered, right? When you merge something and you add it as an appendix to the end, there's this possibility that it will be forgotten. But if you determine that something is important enough, then you place it in a separate paragraph of its own, which makes it more likely to be noticed. Also, pay attention to the way graphical highlighting has been used to make the most important detail, what the writer believes to be the most important detail here, clearly stand out. So the use of boldface for mentioning the date and time will make this, again, more salient and visible to your reader. Finally, let's take a look at the closing statement. The closing statement reads, following the order guidelines established through this new partnership will improve the quality and efficiency of our in-house amenities and client hosting. Call me at extension 211 if you have any questions about the new procedure. So here we have a recommendation. You should follow these guidelines to ensure that everything works well. And then finally, um, a extension number is provided. An opportunity to reach out has been offered so that readers can ask any follow-up questions they might have. So I hope by comparing these two examples, I've been able to give you a better idea of how you should also write your memos this semester.